One of the biggest things I really wanted to do is bring respect back to studio horror films.
Don't you see? See what?
I love a horror film that has a strong sense of dread. This sense of something bad is about to happen.
There's craftsmanship and an art form in it, and I think it's time we bring that back.
Hey, Mark.
When you're doing the second film in a series, it was both a challenge but also fun to figure out where can we zig where we zagged last time and find ways to turn scenes that might seem familiar on their heads and do something different with it.
The tension and the suspense are done on a bigger palette than we did in the first time. So it gives people what they want from the original movie and the structure and story. But it's a bigger roller coaster ride than it was.
It's a darker world than the first one in a lot of ways. And it's also, I think, because it's the child that becomes possessed in it. I think that's kind of also awful because it's a child.
The Enfield case was a very natural successor to the original Conjuring film. It is certainly one of the best known examples and the most documented examples of paranormal activity, of supernatural possession.
Get back to bed, the lot of you!
Story and wanting this to be the second movie is the setting. I really do think the London setting just gives it a slightly different flavor. The location setting, you know, the people just have a different look to it, have a different smell to it.
London was certainly a pretty depressed place in 1977. The miners' strikes were going on. It was the birth of the punk movement. It's gray, it's dark, it's winter. We just thought it would really give a different look and feel to the environment that the Warrens are putting themselves into.
My cinematographer, Don Burgess, did such a great job in capturing that atmosphere that I really wanted to go for.
We know we're coming in to do inspection. Right. So we could be here, she could step up into this.
With each director, to be able to shift his focus and his look is pretty astounding.
Well, this film for me is been an absolute joy because we have a very visual director, James Wan, who's recreating this story. And so the cinematography is a big part of telling this type of a story with the light and the shadow, what you see and what you don't see. When I light a set, I'm always keeping that in mind. I want it to be dramatic, I want it to be interesting, but I want it to feel real. I want the audience to be connected to it.
James is a master at crafting scares and using the camera to create that sense of foreboding. He uses really long takes. He makes you feel like you're really there in the room with their characters.
There's a lot of really long kind of sequences where he'll join 3 scenes and put it in one run. So you're just in the moment of like, I hear my daughter screaming, what is that? Coming, turn the lights on, running down the hall, hearing it, then going into the next scene, what that is. So you do get this kind of long, continuous feeling of like being in the reality of that situation.
It's all about how you move through the house and how the camera can move through the house is first and foremost the most important.
And a color palette that when it's lit in certain ways really makes it scary.
When you see these characters come to life and you feel that this is part of the journey that we're all on, it's what connects us to cinema.
You see how much care we've taken with this franchise. That's going to pull people in.
We're going to scare the pants off of you. But at the heart of the story, there's a tremendous love story. It's just so beautiful, yeah.
We all had to work very hard to really live up to the bars that were set by the first one. That's kind of the things that you need to do as a filmmaker.